I didn't get a chance to talk about this. I know y'all was probably expecting me to talk about this because I cover the NBA, I cover sports. So, this is within my realm. This is what I do. All right. So it appears that a deal is being finalized to send Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns to play alongside Kevin Garnett and Devin Booker, uh, alongside with new coach Frank Vogel. So, listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a buck because this just got to be said. Listen, I don't have no problem with this. I don't have no problem with this. But now people are saying, well, Kevin Durant has another big three, and now he's about to be put in a position to fail once again. Um, if you look at who Kevin Durant has played alongside with, sometimes not at once because due to injury, you never could have all these guys on the court or at least on the same roster at the same time. But if you look at Kevin Durant, who Kevin Durant is, had on his team from Blake Griffin to, James Harden to Kyrie Irving, uh, I'm talking about, man, some of the people that Kevin Durant has played with is astonishing. But it still doesn't diminish Kevin Durant's legacy as a phenomenal basketball player. He is one of the top 75 greatest NBA player to ever, basically play on the hardwood. But okay, so now he gets to play with Bradley Beal, a guy who has in 10 seasons a career average of 23 points per game. That's some great numbers in a 10-year career to average almost 24 points a game. Keep in mind, a couple of years ago, he finished second to Stephen Curry for the scoring title. Now, Bradley Beal is kind of small by two guard standards. I think what is Bradley Beal listed as? Like what, 6'3", 6'3", and he's a two guard. And Devin Booker isn't that tall. Devin Booker is only listed as 6'5". So once again, now Kevin Durant, it's anybody's guess how tall Kevin Durant is. Some people say Kevin Durant is a legitimate 7 feet. Some people say he's 6'10". Some people say he's 6'11". But Kevin Durant is in between 6'10" and 7 feet tall. So when you look at that lineup, it's going to be kind of relatively small. So Kevin Durant is listed. Yeah. So yeah, Kevin Durant is, yeah, he's somewhere in there between 6'10" and 7 feet. Here's okay. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't have no problem with this. But okay, so once again, Kevin Durant is yet again playing with a, I guess you could call a, a stacked roster or another big three. Well, my thing is, why was everybody bitching so bad about him playing for the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? When you look at the roster that he left in Golden State to go play with in Brooklyn, that roster was super stacked, even though you couldn't get all the players to be healthy at one time. But man, so now you look at Kevin Durant, let me give you a list of who Kevin Durant has played with so far in his career. He's played with James Harden twice. James Harden has scored well over 20,000 points, multi-time All-Star, scoring champion, league MVP. He's played with Kyrie Irving. You can make an argument that Kyrie Irving will more than likely be in the Hall of Fame along with James Harden. He's played with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is a borderline Hall of Famer, but when Blake Griffin was healthy, he was putting up 20 plus a game. LaMarcus Aldridge scored over 20,000 points. I mean, come on, man. Look at some of the people that Kevin Durant then played with post Golden State Warriors. But yet everybody was just acted like it was basketball treason when he went to go play with the Golden State Warriors. And I don't want to hear this stuff about you don't go to the team that beat you. And man, get out of here, man. That's a fake notion. You can go wherever the hell you want to go. Once again, the Golden State Warriors had a spot open because they had lost Harrison Barnes. So what's the problem? So now let me get this straight. You don't have a problem with him playing alongside Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, but it was basketball treason when when he went and played for the Golden State Warriors. So, I find something strange with that, and I find a lot of hypocrisy. Now everybody is okay with whoever the hell Kevin Durant decides to play with. People don't keep the same energy, man, and that's the problem that I have. People don't keep the same energy. But once again, I don't have no problem with this. I've said this several times. Free agency is free agency. You can go play wherever the hell you want to play. But like I said, this was just a fake narrative that they came up with because it interfered with LeBron James winning more championships. That's what it really was all about. They knew when Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, was Kevin Durant, he should have stayed with the Golden State Warriors. He shouldn't have let Draymond Green run him off. He shouldn't have been so, emotional to the point to where he let Draymond Green run him away from the team. He should have stayed. At the end of the day, Kevin Durant, if he had stayed with the Golden State Warriors, he might have 4 or 5 championships. And that's just fact. So now he has 2. And due to the fact that Kevin Durant can't seem to win championships without playing with Stephen Curry, this makes Stephen Curry's value go up more than Kevin Durant, because now it looks like, once again, he won because of Stephen Curry and not the other way around. Keep in mind, Stephen Curry already won a championship. Keep in mind, Kevin Durant had to go to Golden State. Stephen Curry was already there. He was drafted by the Warriors. So if Kevin Durant doesn't win a championship without Stephen Curry, then once again, it makes Stephen Curry's value and his legacy rise. So now the pressure is, can Kevin Durant win the championship without Stephen Curry? Stephen Curry has already won a championship without Kevin Durant. See, people don't want to have these type of conversations. See, I'm real with mines. Now I know my boy LB, he'll discuss it because LB is real with his. So now can we have that conversation now? Who needed who more? Once again, Kevin Durant hasn't won a championship without Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry has won 2 championships without Kevin Durant. Facts. Facts. And Kevin Durant keep getting knocked out of the playoff. So now, once again, Kevin Durant needed the Warriors more than the Warriors needed him. So now Kevin Durant has to win another championship without Stephen Curry. Or it's going to come to the fact that people going to have to tell the truth that Stephen Curry was the reason why Kevin Durant has 2 championships and two finals MVP, which you can make an argument that Kevin Durant shouldn't have won that second finals MVP. It should have went to Stephen Curry. For real, can we have some real conversations here? Now, all of a sudden, people don't want to say nothing about Kevin Durant surrounding himself with all these players. These are facts. These are documented. Look at who Kevin Durant has had on his roster since leaving Golden State. You can make an argument that he's had far better, superior players to that Golden State Warriors roster. I'm talking about, this is a dude that played with James Harden, a dude that never saw a three-pointer that he didn't like, no matter how many people was guarding him. And we all know that James Harden is a master flopper. Kevin Durant has played with Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. Well, he's had him on the roster at the same time. Chris Paul, a 12-time All-Star. Chris Paul, who scored over 20,000 points. So like I said before, it's looking pretty bad for Kevin Durant, and I like Kevin Durant. But like I said before, Kevin Durant should never let the NBA shame him into leaving Golden State, because they felt sorry for LeBron James. Because they knew that as long as Kevin Durant was playing playing at Golden State, LeBron wasn't gonna win a damn thing. And he let everybody guilt trip him, shame him, harass him, bully him into leaving Golden State, and he shouldn't have left. Now look what did happen. Now, due to the fact that he's failed to win without being in Golden State, now look how people are talking about him. Now people are begging him to play with super teams when they ridiculed him, attacked him, said it was the weakest move they ever seen in their life, which was complete bull. See how these dudes switch up? They always change the damn narrative whenever they can. So now he gets the pleasure of playing with Bradley Beal. Now the problem is with Bradley Beal doesn't have much playoff experience. It's totally different playing in the regular season, playing in the playoffs. The playoffs, due to the fact that you have to play an extra, four anywhere to where if you go to the playoffs based off the fact that you have to win 4 games, to get to, you have to win at least 4 games in every series to get to a championship and win. You playing a minimum. It's like, that's why they consider it like a totally new season. So the playoffs are totally different. Totally different. So there you have it. Bradley Beal, he don't have much playoff experience. I'm trying to think how many times the Wizards have went to the playoffs in his 10-year career with the Wizards, formerly known as the Washington Bullets, which they should have never changed that name. Should have kept the name the Washington Bullets. No reason to change that name, but trying to play political correctness. But whatever. So less. And then they're saying that there's a way that Chris Paul could actually find his way back to Phoenix. So what if Chris Paul finds his way back to Phoenix? Then at the end of the day, the pressure is on Phoenix to get past Denver, which Denver is good enough to repeat. Now, will they repeat? That remains to be seen, but Denver is good enough to repeat. They keep that roster together. Denver is good enough to repeat. And I don't think Stan Kroenke has any problem spending any money. So with that being said, the pressure is going to mount for Kevin Durant to win another championship. Now, to me, they not giving him as much pressure as they should. But it's funny, the pressure they was, applying to him when he first joined Golden State, but then when he went to the Nets, all of a sudden it's all good. They want him to win championships. They're mad because the team broke up. So once again, the mainstream media, they continue to expose themselves. Nah, I agree. Phoenix still need to do some things. You got to understand, you may have the big 3, but what about the bench? You still need a good bench. I mean, you can't play Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker like 45 minutes per game every game. And that includes the playoffs, thinking that they supposed to score all the points, that they supposed to combine for like maybe 85 points every night. You still need the bench to show up. That's why it's a 12-man roster. You still need people. That's why it's called a bench. That's why it's called reserves. You need the reserves to come in there and basically, score some points. Or if you build a substantial lead, keep the lead. You know what I'm saying? Keep the lead afloat so you don't blow the lead. So they still need to make some moves. Like I said before, it's easy to talk about who's playing in the starting lineup, but at the end of the day, technically you're only as good as your bench. You still need people to come off the bench. One thing about those Chicago Bulls teams, the Chicago Bulls team had a great bench. Now, keep in mind, they played different type of defense back then. They played more man-to-man. Now they play a lot of zone. And then it also gonna come down to what type of offense that Vogel is gonna have Phoenix playing. So a lot of things have to come into play for this to work. Can it work? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can make an argument about Sacramento. Sacramento, they just didn't have the experience, and that's why they didn't get past the Golden State Warriors. And then keep in mind, the Golden State Warriors are not completely out of it neither. The Golden State Warriors, they can make some tweaks. I've been saying this, and I'm gonna put this out there. I don't care. Um, Steve Kerr is gonna have to adjust his style of coaching. I know he likes to play. You could pretty much make the assessment that Steve Kerr likes to play a lot of small ball. But if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I would consider what would it take to get Carl Anthony Towns there. I think Carl Anthony Towns would be a good complementary player. I think he could be a good third or second option, but the Warriors would have to adjust their offense to complement Carl Anthony Towns. But the Warriors need some height. That was one of their biggest Achilles heel. They didn't have much height, and that's why they had trouble rebounding. Rebounding was a big issue for the Golden State Warriors, offensive and defensive rebounding. So that's why the Warriors struggled throughout the season. And and I know that New Orleans is saying that they want to keep Zion Williams. Well, it all depends on what is being offered for him. Like I said before, I just think the dude just don't want to be in New Orleans. And then based off what he got going on in New Orleans, he needs to change the scenery. He need to change the scenery real bad. And it's something that I want to say pertaining to Zion Williamson, but I'll talk about that later on. I may do a live, and I know it may ruffle some feathers, but then I got to say this because it just need to be said. I'm not finna be pulling no punching. I'm not finna watch what I say. And by the way, I got to respond to what Aisha Curry did to Stephen Curry. And Stephen Curry gonna have to put his foot down, and he gonna have to seriously check Aisha Curry behind the scenes. You want to act single, I'll make you single. But we'll talk about that later on. I mean, here's the thing about DeMarcus Cousins. Sean, at this point, you kind of got to wonder what's left of. It's literally what's left of DeMarcus Cousins. Because I just think he one of them dudes. He trying to fight it, but he just cannot stay healthy. I mean, when this dude was healthy, he was one of the best out there. I mean, this dude was putting up some nice numbers, man. This dude was putting up 23 and 10 a game, but then once again, he couldn't stay healthy. Them injuries just started piling up, and he just couldn't stay healthy. That's one of the difficulties when you draft a big man. You have to wonder how long you're going to have him. So it's very exceptional that guys like Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem and Kareem and dudes like that last in the league for as long as they did, even though they were missing games, but they were at least guaranteed to give you at least, 60 games per season out of 80 for the most part. But now you drafting these centers. Now you lucky if you get 40 games out of them. Now these dudes, if they basically trip, trying to get on the team bus, they out for like 15 games. So and so trip getting on the team bus and he blew out his knee, so he's out. And sometimes you wonder, are these guys just mentally weak? I mean, some of these dudes are worse than Samuel L. Jackson's character on Unbreakable. If dude walk wrong, he was breaking ligaments and tearing ligaments. So I mean, I'm just saying, some of these new dudes are just real fragile. That would be a good option. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I agree with that too. BS filter, but that's the problem. I think to a certain degree, teams don't want to use big man no more as the vocal point of the offense. They don't want usually the big man for the most part was usually the number one option. I mean, if you could play like Hakeem or Shaq, but now they sort of like used as as a defender, a rim protector, a rebounder and stuff. And they not relied upon on scoring and stuff. And I think to a certain degree they need to bring that back. For real. Now teams don't build teams around centers anymore. It's built either around, for the most part, either a point guard or maybe a four or maybe a three. It just all depends now. Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on these big men, but like a lot of them, they just real fragile now. Like I said, if you press your thumb on them too hard, they out for 10 games. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like some of them ain't mentally tough. I'm just that's just my assessment, and I'm not trying to attack them, but I'm pretty sure everybody sees this. So, like I said before, getting back to Phoenix, going into next season, this coming season, it's just gonna be a lot of pressure for Kevin Durant to get back to the finals and win. Because now they're trying to accommodate him and they trying to give him the most suitable and healthy and best players they can, put on that roster to help him succeed and win. But now the questions is out there. Now we got to have that conversation. While everybody was sitting up there saying that Kevin Durant helped Stephen Curry win 2 championships, which is absolutely unequivocally false. Because keep in mind, once again, Stephen Curry won a ring without Kevin Durant, and he's won a ring. He's won one ring before Kevin Durant got there, and he's won a ring since Kevin Durant has not been there. So what does that say about Stephen Curry? And that's the team that Stephen Curry was drafted by. Like I said before, I felt that Kevin Durant got too much credit. Kevin Durant really didn't get his game adjusted. Kevin Durant basically had to be accommodated by Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry had to adjust his game to complement Kevin Durant, and he made it work. So what does that say about Stephen Curry? It appears that Stephen Curry is don't get the credit that he should get. Once again, he helped Kevin Durant get there. He already had got it done. So once again, for real, how many championships Kevin Durant has won since he left the Golden State Warriors? Absolutely none. How many championships have Stephen Curry won since Kevin Durant left? Okay, he's had championships pre Kevin Durant and post Kevin Durant. Once again, what does that say about Stephen Curry? Stephen Curry's legacy is secure. It's secure. Now Kevin Durant, he got to win. Kevin Durant, he got to win without Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry don't have to do nothing the rest of his career. And if the media really legit and they really want to be truthful, they gonna have to say this. They gonna have to start pointing this out. Once again, I'm gonna say this again for the people in the cheap seats. Stephen Curry has succeeded without Kevin Durant before he got there, pre-Kevin Durant, and he succeeded post-Kevin Durant. Now Kevin Durant have to do the same. And I know there's been people that's been protecting Kevin Durant, but now Kevin Durant, if he don't finish his career with another championship where he leads the team to a championship, I don't really want to talk about this bus driver stuff. You're just going to have to tell the truth that Kevin Durant couldn't win without Stephen Curry. So once again, that should show you who's the better player. And the answer is Stephen Wardell Curry or Wardell Stephen Curry, whatever the hell his first name is. Can we kick the facts? Oh, appreciate it. Damn, Sean, you going tough on Kevin. You don't think Kevin Durant is a top 10 player? Um, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we look at Kevin Durant's career, it's gonna be measured by championships. Okay, he has two. But he needs to get at least one more. And he has to lead a team to a championship, because you could make an argument that he really didn't lead those Golden State Warrior teams to a championship. At the end of the day, if we go back to the 73-9 season, like I said before, if the NBA hadn't interfered with that finals like they did, who knows? Because they altered history, they interfered with history. They should not have suspended Draymond Green. They could have suspended Draymond Green at the beginning of the season. And I'm sorry, you do not interfere with the finals unless Draymond Green do something egregious. If he, you know what I'm saying, if he got into some kind of shootout or something outside or something like that, or then you make a move. But they should not have interfered with the finals like they did. I think Steph Curry is fine if he doesn't win another ring, because the question was, remember, they kept saying, which was bogus. Didn't make any kind of sense when they were saying, can Steph Curry win without Kevin Durant? He won without Kevin Durant anyway. What were you talking about? And we could all make an argument that Golden State Warriors team that won in 2021, 22, you can make an argument that team wasn't as talented as the teams they had with Kevin Durant. I mean, you really can make that argument. That was one of the more less talented Golden State Warrior teams they had, and they still got it done. Well, like I said, I look. I'm a big KD fan. Me and KD have the same birthday, September 29th. I'm talking about Kevin Durant was born on the same day as me, on September 29th. You know, me, KD, Calvin Johnson, Brian Gumble, a couple of other people, we all was born on September 29th. Um, and we know Calvin Johnson is even though Calvin Johnson only played 8 to 9 seasons, Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest wide receivers that ever played the game. If Calvin Johnson would still be playing, he would have damn near all the wide receiver records. So, man didn't win nothing, and he still went to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot because he was that good. But like I said before, the pressure is mounting on Kevin Durant to win. Like I said, they did a completely 360. They tried to discredit him for the championships he won with Golden State, but now they're begging him to win championships, and then he's playing on these big three teams. See how inconsistent lamestream media is? Man, you better be careful, Sean, man, because if these LeBron apologists hear you, man, they might, I don't know, man, they might come for you, man. Um, I'll say this about LeBron. I'll say by default, you have to at least put him arguably in your top 15, top 10, just because of his accomplishments, because of him being an all-time scoring leader. You have to give him credit for that, and he did it in a shorter time than Kareem did it. He did it at age 38, but he did come straight out of high school. So the thing is with LeBron, the thing is with LeBron, like I said, by default you have to put him there. But then, um, is he does he deserve a spot in the top 10, top five? I guess by default. I mean, he's a four-time Finals MVP. He is a four-time four-time league MVP. He is a 19-time All-Star. So by default, by default, but if you look at LeBron, you have to make the assessment and you have to make the honest assessment that he is an opportunist and he seeks out opportunity. Now, keep in mind, we only a week removed from the season ending. So I think in August and close to by the time the season gets ready to go into preseason, you're going to see a lot of shakeups. Because you hearing that the Lakers may not want Anthony Davis anymore, and then LeBron may be looking to go somewhere else. I'll be honest with you. My honest opinion to me, and I'm going to say this, and this is just real talk, and I'm going to put this out there. I think LeBron should consider going back to Miami. I think he should consider going back to the Heat. At this point, LeBron's career, it's just nothing there for LeBron to... It's nothing there for LeBron to do in Los Angeles. The Lakers, they just ain't good enough to win it all. Not with that current roster. Even with LeBron and AD on the same team, they got swept. They got swept by an upstart Denver Nuggets team. They didn't win one game. They got swept. And this is one of the things that you have to talk about when it comes to LeBron's legacy. This is where the Michael Jordan argument comes. And I'm end this stream on this note with the Michael Jordan assessment, why a lot of times people always give the edge to Michael Jordan. Even though Michael Jordan has never went to a game 7 in the finals, Michael Jordan has never swept. He's never swept anybody neither. Now we can sit up there and say, well, that's because he played with tougher competition, so it would be harder to sweep somebody. Nah, that's not true, because if that's the case, why did the Lakers get swept? That Lakers team got swept by the Detroit Pistons. So you can't really say that. So that's not you can't really go that route, because I do know the game of basketball very well. So you can't really make that assessment about, sweeps and all that stuff. Michael Jordan has never went to a game 7, but he's never swept anybody as well. And most of the championships he's won, I think out of all of them, except for one championship finals, I think all of them, I think for the other 5 that he won, he went to at least a game 6. I think except for that first series with the Lakers where they won in 5, and some people can call it a delayed sweep or whatever, it's not an official sweep. Michael Jordan, like I said, he never has played in a game 7, but he's never swept anybody neither. So he's had to earn it. But Isaiah Thomas, I think it was the either 89-90 team or the 99, but they swept. They swept the Lakers. Lakers didn't win one game. So that's something that Isaiah Thomas, in his 2 championships, he could say, hey, we got a sweep. See, I know this game. So that's the problem where you have the Michael Jordan thing. Michael Jordan has never lost the finals, even though, once again, Michael Jordan, you can make the assessment that Michael Jordan got out in time because, like I said before, those Spurs teams and those Laker teams were coming. So you have to wonder, did Michael Jordan see the writing on the wall? It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave on top. I'm gonna get out on top. And then he comes back a few years later and play for the Wizards, which we all knew the Wizards wasn't gonna be able to compete for a championship. So that's why a lot of people, to a certain degree, they don't even count. They don't even count those seasons that he played with the Wizards. The last dance. They already, after they won that final championship, Jerry Crouch, he told Phil Jackson he didn't care if he went 82-0. He said he was gone. He said he was so there you have it. And then when you make the comparison to LeBron James has went to the finals what 8 or 9 times. LeBron James has been swept at least. Let me see. They got swept by the Spurs before, and they got swept by the Golden State Warriors. So he's been swept at least to my knowledge, 2 times. Where Michael Jordan never lost the finals and he's never been swept. So like I said before, that's where the argument comes and the debate comes about who's better out of LeBron and Michael Jordan. I think as far as who's more athletic, you gotta. I guess you could give the edge. I guess you could give the edge to LeBron, who's more defensively. I say Jordan was a far better defensive player than LeBron, who was more fluent and natural as far as scoring go. Yeah, I don't know. That's up for debate. That could always be up for debate, but I'm just breaking this stuff down. Okay, so he been to the finals. Okay, see that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And out of those finals, he's been swept twice, at least. I gotta look how many. I know for sure San Antonio swept him. And then I know the Golden State Warriors swept them. And then one series they lost to San Antonio in 5. One series they lost to the Golden State Warriors in 5. And I think they went 6 with Dallas. And keep in mind, they was a heavy favorite to win versus when I say they was a heavy favorite to win against Dallas. So that's where LeBron failures come at. And that's why people say, well, there's no way that you could say he's better than Michael Jordan. So that's where that argument is always going to be in place, to where most of the time you're going to have the argument that Jordan is ahead as far as LeBron go. Even though when it comes to who's the greatest winner of all time, the greatest winner of all time is Bill Russell, without a shadow of a doubt. He won 11 of them things and won as a coach. And we could holler about, well, Bill Russell wasn't a good. He wasn't very good at offense. Well, Bill Russell averaged 16 points a game. And it doesn't matter how he scored it. He still averaged 16 points a game as a player. And keep in mind, the inaugural Finals MVP didn't come till I think 1 year after he retired. And that went to Jerry West in a losing effort. So I'm just saying, if Michael Jordan is the quote unquote GOAT, the greatest winner of all time is Bill Russell. Facts. 11 championships. He got a ring for every finger. So there you have it. I know, like back in the day, like when Michael Jordan was drafted, if you watch that movie, Air, which is a very good movie, listen, nobody wasn't building teams around no guards at the time. That was just unheard of. And like I said, everybody keep talking about the Portland Trail Blazers not taking Michael Jordan #2. They didn't need Michael Jordan because they already had Clyde Drexler. So they already had a two guard. And Hakeem was Hakeem. Hakeem unequivocally was the best player in that draft. So he was justified going number one. And people, this is what pissed me off about Hakeem. Everybody keep talking about Michael Jordan should have went number one. Like I said before, nobody built franchises around no guards for the most part. It was really most at that time. The game was centered around power forwards and centers and forwards. The guard, the two guard was actually like like the third or fourth option. So when Michael Jordan came about, he changed the game where they started building teams around like guards and stuff. So like I said before, and I remember when Michael Jordan got drafted, Hakeem was justified being the number one overall pick. Like people act like Hakeem was some kind of flop or something. Like the man scored like 25,000 points. I mean, he was a league MVP and a finals MVP. I mean, like that's the only thing. Sam Bowie was a big man. And that's what Portland needed at the time. So Michael Jordan going third to the Chicago Bulls, that was you know what I'm saying? That was justified. Listen, nobody thought Michael Jordan was going to turn out to be what eventually you seen happen over 40 years. Nobody expected that. People thought Michael Jordan was going to be a good, solid NBA player. They thought he would, do well. But nobody thought MJ was going to be MJ. Nobody. I remember watching Michael Jordan at Carolina, and I was very young watching Jordan play. I was young. And I would watch him play. I was like, this Jordan dude is cool. He could jump through the roof and everything. And I remember when he got drafted, I was like, okay, so he went to the Chicago Bulls. And I was just like, okay, he gonna be a good player. Like I said, nobody saw what was what was gonna become of Michael Jordan. Nobody predicted it. Nobody saw it. And then here we go, almost 40 years later. Now look what happened. So there you have it. But anyway, like I said, ending this stream, the amount of pressure that's gonna come towards Kevin Durant to get back to the NBA Finals is gonna, skyrocket. He has to get back there and he has to win it all. Can't just go to the finals. He got to win the finals. But anyway, appreciate you guys tapping in. I'm out. Damn, this stream.